You ever been up in that jungle before?
There's about 1 million hectares of it, buddy. It's easy to get lost.
You lost?
Oh.
I'm amazed how lost you got.
You little bastard!
We got no choice but to camp out here for a few weeks.
Where are you, Ricky Baker?
More on this massive national manhunt.
Faulkner is Caucasian. Well, they got that wrong because you're obviously white.
You're going to jail, you pervert.
What you call me?
You pervert.
Back up, homies, and let go of my uncle!
So welcome to Owen Sound. This is my review of Hunt for the Wilderpeople. This is the new film from Taika Waititi, the director of What We Do in the Shadows, the vampire comedy movie. This is also a comedy. It's a New Zealand comedy. So there are a couple overtones of Flight of the Conchords, and even one of the actors from it actually shows up, not the two main characters, but one of them does show up. And this stars Sam Neill and Julian Dennison as Ricky and Hector, and the movie basically plays out as these two trying to survive in the what they call the bush in New Zealand, kind of the wilds of the forest there while on the run, and it plays out quite a bit like Up. So going to the characters in the movie, Sam Neill plays Hector. He's kind of this grumpy old man, much like the old man in Up. And Julian Dennison plays Ricky Baker. This is an interesting kind of thuggy kid. He's kind of a delinquent, and he's an orphan going to Hector and his wife from child services because he's been put from family to family, and it plays out later on in the movie. Both of them play very well in their parts alone, and then actually very well together. Their chemistry is really what drives a lot of the humor of the movie. And just watching them kind of grow together and grow as people throughout the movie is really interesting. It's also notable that Julian's Ricky is really unpredictable in terms of his humor, and he'll just pull stuff constantly out that you will laugh at each time and again. Rima Tewiata plays Auntie, which is Hector's wife, and she's pretty good as far as the character goes. She's really great at starting the foundation for the relationship between Hector and Ricky, and she really plays, I guess, the character that fills out the kind of emotional warmness that the two characters need to come together by the end of the movie. Rachel House's social care work is very over the top in this movie, but I found that it kind of worked to the style of comedy of the movie, so it really doesn't drag the movie down in any way, and she's pretty fun to watch, especially with her companion throughout this movie. Just because it's like, I can hear it like bleeding through into the audio.
Oh, Noah.
It's Owen from upstairs.
Owen?
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. No worries. I can stop. Don't worry.
Now, there's a lot of really great extras in this movie. It's a really great character film, and just the range of extras that they put in this movie are really great, including Waititi himself, who plays a preacher, and he's just really humorous, and I forgot that that's who he was until later on at the end of the movie when they rolled the credits. Now, this is a Kiwi comedy, so if you're a fan of Flight of the Conchords or other movies that Waititi's done, you'll definitely enjoy this movie. Overall, I found the humor to be really great, and works kind of all over the board for different people. I found younger and older people in the audience alike thought this was pretty funny, and just the sense of humor really appeals to anybody that is a fan of anything of similar styles. Also, the visual humor in this movie is really top notch, much like an Edgar Wright movie. It really nails some of the visual humor, even in edits of like cops closing a door of their police car. I found myself laughing at that, just of the way it was edited, intended to be kind of funny, like you would see once again in an Edgar Wright movie. At the end of the day, this is a character-focused comedy, which I find is usually the ones that work the best when a movie is just trying to make jokes, or tries to just throw jokes in throughout a plot. It doesn't always work out so well, but when the jokes are based around the characters, it works a lot better, and you find a lot of the humor comes from Sam Neill and Julian's chemistry together, and then their, I guess, tendencies tending to get them into trouble based on their refusal to grow as people. Now, going to the style of the movie, the chapters are a really interesting touch. It really just makes the movie feel more like a storybook, which is a great feel that the movie actually does carry out, especially with just the sense of magic that New Zealand provides in the film. There's also these really great circle rotation shots, used alternatively, not like in It Follows in a scary way, but used really well to, I guess, time-lapse Hector and Julian's combing through the bush. And just, it's really cool. They use extras, as you can tell in a lot of the shots, because you don't see their faces, so they're not just using like a visual edit, kind of putting a line in the middle of the screen. And it's a really interesting technique. Lastly, the soundtrack by Moniker. I believe they are a New Zealand band. I still haven't done the research on this, but that soundtrack is really great. I really love it. It has like a 80s vibe at times, almost Turbo Kitty at times, Turbo Kid-ish, as I guess I should say. It's not Turbo Kitty, but it's a really great soundtrack. It fits both kind of the more I guess action-ish oriented sequences and the humorous sequences. It fits the whole movie very well, and it's interesting. I didn't know that it was this band that had done the entire soundtrack. There's even a great musical moment in the movie when they take Hector in, where they sing a birthday song for him sung by Rima Te Wiata, and it's probably one of my favorite moments of the entire movie, actually. Just the character interaction in that scene and humor just plays so well together. It's hilarious, and Moniker actually covers that little song that she plays on a Casio at the end of the movie, and it's a great, almost humorous ending to the movie to have this kind of rock star version of his birthday song. So I definitely recommend checking that out, even if you don't end up watching the whole movie. Just that little scene is one of the best in the entire movie. Overall, the film is really heartwarming. It's really great, and it holds you through the entire movie. There doesn't really seem to be a dull point in the movie. It does have overtones of Up. It really felt like a live adaptation of Up to me, but almost, I guess, better overall for me, as Up really falls off at times and does show its signs of being a children's movie, excluding the first 10 minutes, obviously. But I felt overall that this movie really works well with the chemistry of Sam Neill's Hector and Ricky, played by Julian. And they just drive the entire movie. The plot escalates at a decent pace, kind of going over the top at the end, but it works with the entire style of the movie, and the humor just doesn't really stop. That said, as much as the movie is also sappy, because it does have some very heartwarming moments, it is dark as well. There are quite a few deaths in the movie. No spoilers, but there are quite a few deaths, and it handles the deaths very well, so I find it really balances these two things very well. And going to say on the few, I guess, lower details of the movie that kind of, you know, pull it down a little, the quick, dry wit of the movie really saves it, and I think that's why I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 for me on this one. This is actually going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. It's definitely in my top 5 right now. I'm sure there will be a lot of Oscar bait that might fight for that one, but just out of everything I've seen this year, I really enjoyed this one and thought it was a rare comedy that really hooked me and really sunk its teeth into me. So thanks for watching, guys. As usual, you can find everything I do on the Owen Sound WordPress page. I'll post a link at the bottom there for you. And you can check out my new movie podcast. It will be coming out probably around the same time as this new episode on SoundCloud.com, and that's going to be the Real Deal podcast. So I'll post a link there at the bottom for you too. And yeah, just check out everything I do, and thanks for watching.